much of an inland threat this is, not just a coastal one. It's going to start at the coast, but it's going to spread inland. And this is the beginning of some really, really heavy rainfall. And the backside of it will be pretty devastating in terms of the rainfall as well. But there's a lot of wind in here, too. And I wanted to show, Mark, we've been doing this occasionally tonight to dispense with the cone being useful for telling you what's going to happen, because the chances of sustained winds of tropical storm force that are at least 50-50 are way outside the cone. And there's a non-trivial chance farther inland from that. In fact, over Arkansas, these chances will go up. We just don't know which parts of the state will go up. And you've got to be getting ready for the winds. And they're going to start showing up late tonight, early tomorrow. Say Baton Rouge, it could happen just shortly after midnight when they first arrive. That's why go to bed tonight knowing you're not going to be going anywhere tomorrow.
Yeah, and again,
and realize that in addition to the power outages and the strong winds, we've got a tornado threat that could extend well outside the cone.
So many angles of Tropical Storm Barry. We've got all the latest information right here, right after this.
For so many people across the region.
And within the next 12 to 24 hours, this storm will really be making its presence felt here across the Gulf Coast. I'm meteorologist Alex Wilson, live in Lafayette, Louisiana, a community that could see 8 to 12 inches of rain and winds gusting over 50 miles an hour as Barry moves closer. I want to get you caught up on what we know right now about Tropical Storm Barry as it approaches the coast. U.S. Coast Guard, they've now closed the port of New Orleans. New Orleans officials are telling people to wrap up storm preparations and get inside by 8 o'clock tonight. Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant has signed a state of emergency proclamation for areas affected by Barry, and this storm is expected and forecast to become a hurricane before making landfall. Hurricane warnings.
And the forecast track and intensity, we'll get an update on this in about 2.5 hours from the Hurricane Center. But I don't expect any significant changes. It's just a matter of kind of watching on the radar and the aircraft data exactly where the center is and how strong it is getting. But on satellite, Mark, the last few visible images of the day, it's looking healthier.
Yeah, it is. And I want to just kind of pick up from that. We saw the radar kind of really filling in on that east side. Some of it's trying to bend around towards New Orleans. Does that give you kind of a precursor as to where some of the heavy rain will wind up in the long term?
Yeah, it's not so completely half and half anymore with everything to the south. It is filling in on the east side, and it's hard to see on the visible imagery as we lose that. But you switch over to the radar, we've got some east side banding that we hadn't had in a while. And remember, this is not zipping along off to the northwest, and this is going to completely miss New Orleans or Baton Rouge. This whole mess is just essentially going to go in this direction very, very slowly. So if you just imagine, let's say we got some city here and some city here. You know what we'd be talking about? Training. How many inches of rain per hour? Flash flood warnings, staying off the roads, and hopefully not cars caught in the floodwaters, and hopefully not flash flood emergencies.
We are. It was scattered and light for much of the day. Now we're starting to see the rain kind of persistently come on through here. And this is not the rain rates we're worried about, but as we showed you so many models that we can easily get that. In fact, just a couple of days ago, we had 6 to 9 inches in 3 hours. That's the rain we're concerned about. We already picked up about 0.2 of an inch of rain so far this day. This is now adding to it. But if that rain is filling in, this could be a whole different city come daylight tomorrow. So let's hope that it takes its time coming on through. The heaviest rain spares the city, but the city's below sea level and sits there like a bowl, collects that water if it falls too heavy from the sky. We'll have more coming up on Weather Underground right after this. In case of worst case scenario across the area, and even the police, they're now parking their cars up on the median if they're not going to be used anytime soon. Even residents as well. It's kind of a common factor here in part of life that they know a heavy rain is coming. They kind of park on the median. They have I guess the median parking ban is no longer in effect, so you can get your car to a little bit higher ground. And sometimes that's all it takes, an extra foot or two in elevation to get you out of that harmful water that can get into your car's engine as well. So that's the big concern as the rain continues to come down here. And looking at the forecast, Dr. Nab, and we could see a lot more of this, not only for tonight, but really tomorrow. I mean, this is truly not even the appetizer. This is just the smell coming in from the kitchen. The big stuff comes as we head to those outer bands, the southern bands of the system, as we head throughout the day on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul Goodlow for us in New Orleans. Paul, thank you so much. Dr. Nab, I think it's